I think I was a little scared there because like the doctors told me how bad it was. I never realized until like in Czech, there was this one doctor that told me, yeah, you can celebrate your birthday twice a year because like you're really lucky that you survived.
Welcome to The Pass Track Talks, the ultimate traveling podcast for motorsport stories.
We are Nicole and Mattia, and together we wish to narrate the characters of the little big world that we're so passionate about.
We meet the drivers as well as the insiders directly at the racetracks, and throughout our unfiltered talks, behind-the-scenes anecdotes, pure emotions, and fragments of intense life emerge, together with the universal values that characterize this discipline.
Because in some way, the pass is also about you. Enjoy.
Welcome to this new episode of The Pass Track Talks. I'm Mattia Livraghi.
I'm Nicole Miotto.
And today we're here with a very special guest, Eliska Babickova.
Hi everyone.
And we're here at the amazing Franciacorta Karting Track. We're in the briefing room where they usually hold the briefings on the weekend of the FIA Karting World Championship, OK-OKJ. But tomorrow we will not speak about the race. Today we will not speak about the race. I'm sorry. We will speak about Eliska's story. First of all, thank you for being here, Eliska.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
For me, it's a real pleasure because maybe you won't remember. I'm a bit older than you, unfortunately. But I remember in 2015 when I used to race in the Easy Kart Championship that you and your two sisters raced. So you were very little. But
yeah, we did race, but my memory doesn't serve me that well.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Don't worry. Anyway.
Too many races to remember.
Exactly.
Yeah. I imagine, but it's a real pleasure because I kind of saw you and your sisters grow through the years. So I'm really happy to have you here to tell a bit about your story. Where do we start?
From the start. Just like how did you get into karting? How did your passion start?
Yeah, so I think before my sister's passion, it was more my dad's passion. And I think he always liked cars because when he was 18, he ran away to Germany, and that's where the love for the cars kind of grew. And so then he started his company here in Czech, and one of his employees had a son who was racing. And then the employee took my dad to the track once, and my dad completely fell in love with it. So then my older sister Teresa was 6 years old, and he got her into it straight away. And the first time she went out, she broke her leg.
No.
She completely flipped. Yeah.
The first time she tried a go-kart.
Yeah, because they put her in mini straight away.
6 years old.
Yeah. And she just got on the power, and she went into the barriers and flipped. And it was.
But wait, how many years difference between you and Teresa?
It's 2.5 years.
So you remember, you were there watching her?
No. I was at home. And I just remember her coming home, and she was her leg was hurting so much. And my dad thought that she's just faking it, that she doesn't want to go to school the next day or something. So he didn't want to believe her. And then she went to the hospital, and the bone in her thigh, which is the thickest bone on the body, right? Mm-hmm. It was broken. It was.
That's crazy.
Wow, what a traumatic
first time.
Yeah, and then after Teresa, me and Petra started at the age of 5, but we didn't start in minis because I think my dad learned from the bad experience. We started in Bambinos.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, and my passion, I think it grew already in Bambinos because I always just wanted to be the fastest.
Between you and your sisters, you mean, or in general?
No, we were also doing races in Bambinos because there was
in Czech Republic.
In Czech Republic.
Okay.
Yeah. And I always just wanted to win the races and be the fastest. I think when we're kids, all we want to do is be the fastest. And then when you get older, that you also want to be the best in racing and that. But when I was a child, I just wanted to be the fastest. That's all I saw, and that was my biggest goal. So
But did you have a better first time experience than your sister? Did you enjoy your first time?
Yeah, I actually did. So when I was starting, they put like a rope, they tied it to our cart, and they were like holding us on the rope so we don't go as fast. And because the engine wasn't so strong, it wasn't that difficult to hold the cart. So yeah, my experience was way better.
Something that makes me curious watching you and your sisters is actually this, because you said Teresa started first, and it's common to see brothers and sisters racing, but usually then only one goes on. Instead, all three of you, and then also your little brother started, and you all keep going. So I wondered if it's really something you all just love so much, or if maybe, I don't mean there is pressure, but I don't know, it's more something you're used to and that is part of you, but it's not. I mean, I was impressed because all of you race, all of you keep going, and all of you seem passionate to me. So how is it that this happened?
I think it's a bit different for everyone. For each of us, it's a bit individual. I think all of us like different parts about it, but we kind of learn to love it in our own way. And for example, for me, I just love racing, and I just love the races. I also actually like the paddock, the atmosphere and everything, and I'm pretty sure like if you ask Petra or Terry, it would be like similar answer, but they would put like their own twist to it.
Okay.
So there's for sure some parts they love more than me, but I think also what makes it like really special for us is that like we get to be together as a family. So we get to spend some time together, my brother, my sisters, my dad and mom, because they come to most of our races. So I think that's all, because we're in school in Prague.
Oh, so you live always in there.
Yeah. So, but we're not with our parents because they live in like a different part of Czech. So we actually don't see each other that often. So then,
Do you
like
live on
racing
your own already?
Well, yeah, I live with my sister. So then, kind of racing becomes like a family thing, and it's just like, great to spend time together here.
And how is it? Because I mean, you all started, you were very little. So how is does the does the time together change between when you're on track and when you're home? Do you feel that something is different when you're on track all together, or do you live the same kind of relationship when you're on track and when you're home?
I think most of the time it's very similar. It's just probably between me and my sisters, the rivalry is like higher on the track. But then I think at home we make like a really good trio. We always have each other's back, and then I think that's like a little difference. But other than that, it's pretty much the same, to be honest.
Okay. No, I was curious about this. And you told we have each other's back when you're on track.
Oh, well, on the track, everybody wants to win, okay? So not always, but I think if we can help each other somehow, for example, if Teresa knows that I'm not fast enough, and then she knows I'm behind her, or like she knows she isn't fast enough, sorry, and I am behind her and she knows I am fast enough, then she just like lets me through, because it will just like be beneficial for both of us. So we kind of have each other's back on the track as well, but not completely.
Do you help each other between, I mean, the sessions, maybe, I don't know, giving each other advice, or you all look at your individual thing with your mechanics and you just try to keep things separate?
Yeah, I think sometimes we try to give each other advice, but it isn't like really beneficial because as I said, we are rivals, and it just can come off as like the other one thinks she's better. So we just tend to take advice from other people because that's what they're there for, and if we keep it separated, then there's at least no drama and no issues.
What do you feel? I ask Nicole because I have a brother and we both actually raced, but he finished quite early and then he just supported me. Nikki has an older sister. What do you think when you hear Eliska talking about her relationship with her sister in such a sport?
Well, it's really nice because they, at the end of the day, have a lot in common. Me and my sister never did the same sport. She's also much older than me. But to have such a thing that keeps you together is really nice. Also, growing up and learning. I think when you get even older, you look back at the memories and be really happy and grateful they have happened.
Yeah, what does this sport actually mean to you and your family and your sisters?
That's a difficult question because it's something that has really like become just a part of our family, because it's just something we're so used to, and then when we don't do it, it just feels like strange, like we feel like we're doing like something unusual, so when we don't do the sport, it's just like, what's going on? Like
something's missing.
Yeah, so I think it has really just become a part of the family, as like we get to spend time together around the track. We even get to travel like around Europe and also to Bahrain, so so it just, I think it has become like, first of all, a great experience. And then also, I think it has learned us a lot of things. Like, for sure, it helped us with English. And then with, I think my bond with my sisters also has gotten stronger through the sport, because like before we were doing this sport, I don't think we were as close. So I think it for sure like brought us together as well. So it's just a huge part of our life.
Could you ever imagine your family, your sisters, and you without the sport?
No. No, that's an easy answer, because we've been doing it for such a long time. I just don't know like what else I would be doing. Like, we also did gymnastics, but I just cannot imagine doing gymnastics till now. Like with karting, I can, because I just love it, but I cannot like imagine I just would do this with anything else.
This is really powerful. Also because, we started this podcast to let people understand what is behind karting, because people watch the races, see the results, but not a lot of people can actually understand all that someone lives to do this sport and what it means to people. And also, we are doing this podcast because we believe that motorsports, like maybe all other sports, but particularly motorsports, is a metaphor for life. And you are a perfect example, because you're just telling us this. So, I mean, how do you think that this sport shaped you? You were speaking about the things it taught you, but also maybe you talked about English, about traveling, and the relationship with your sisters. Do you also feel that many values you have are thanks to this sport?
Yeah, for sure. Like, it has taught me so many things, and I gained so many life lessons from this sport. Like, just like, this is something I always say, and it is that whenever you do something, you just have to do your absolute best, because then if you don't, you're just wasting your time on, and time is precious. So if whatever you do, just do your absolute best, because it's just, otherwise you're just
wasting
time. And yeah, I guess that is an important life lesson for me, because it maximizes your performance, and it just, I think it makes you better in everything you do, because if you don't do your best, what are you doing?
Well, it's true.
Go.
No, do you also apply this on your normal daily life, let's say training, maybe even mental training, because I guess the pressure, it's a lot.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I meant when I said this. It's like motorsport has taught me that, but I think everyone should apply it in everything because it's how to get the best out of life.
You were telling us that you couldn't imagine your life without motorsport, but I remember last year, we were already speaking about having a sort of interview together, and you told me that you would have stopped racing this year. And you actually, I didn't see you actually for nearly the whole season. You came back towards the end of it. Can I ask you why and how did that change? Because then you came back.
Yeah, I think it was mainly also like frustration because our materials were not really good enough because obviously in this world not only the talent matters, like material, tires, everything needs to be put in place, and we in depths we just didn't have the material, I felt like. So then I knew I was fast enough and good enough to drive for sure in the top 10, but we just didn't have the material, so it was just so frustrating, and I was like, oh my god, I'm done with this. Like,
so it was a thing about results.
yes, I think when you don't have results in something you're working so hard for, you just get so dismotivated, and like all the motivation just goes away because you can't see the results of your hard work.
And how did you decide to come back?
So I think because I was doing some test days with my sisters this year. And
Just to have fun, or because you were already thinking of a possible comeback?
well, my dad wanted to keep me in the sport, so he made me do the test days. I had no choice.
Really?
Yeah, so he was like, you have to do the test days with the sisters. We already put so much money into it, so you have to do it. So I was like, okay, whatever. But I also didn't want to stop racing completely or like driving completely,
Sure.
because I would just like miss it a lot, and I also couldn't go from doing karting on 100% to zero.
To zero.
So at least I got to do karting in this way, and then I just missed the racing. Like whenever I would come to a race to watch, I would just be like, oh my god, I wish I was driving. So yeah, then I found out the World Championship is going to be in Franciacorta, and it's like one of my favorite tracks.
Huh.
So so then I decided to do the World Championship and see how everything goes.
Do you regret that little time you've not been racing, or do you think it didn't actually change that much and you're happy with how, or maybe it also helped you to understand certain things? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it for sure helped me to understand certain things and it benefited me in like a way because before I was super frustrated, I wasn't motivated, I just wasn't really feeling good in the sport anymore. But now that I got to take the time off, and now that I'm like fast again or on the top, well, not this week really, but on the WSK we had good pace, and on also the FIA and then the Italian Championship. So it's just really, I'm just really happy with it, and it motivates me, and it for sure makes me happy that I made the decision to stop at the start of the year and then decided to come back because I think I really needed that break.
So was it getting heavy for you with the frustration?
Yeah, I think it was just like the frustration also, like we were never at home. So it was like I wanted to be home, I wanted to see my family more, because I was like, I am sacrificing all these things I love for something that it's like not really worth doing anymore because I'm not getting the results I want anyway.
It was not giving you back what you were giving it.
Yeah, exactly.
And you talked about sacrifices. It's something that people struggle to understand when you speak about a sport such as karting.
No, but also because sometimes people tend to be like, they're having fun, why would they complain about sacrifice? But in reality, there's a lot.
You have to sacrifice so much, like time at school also, you need to catch up with everything. I think that's the biggest misconception people have, is that like when you do karting, your school life is so easy. But I feel like it gets more difficult because you have to catch up with all the work, or you have to do the work at the track while you're still driving. And
I never managed to do school or to do homework at the track. My mother, when I was little, I never competed in like the biggest races like WSK, FIA, but sometimes I missed Fridays or Thursdays at school. And when I was little, my mom, like, she was after me, and I had to do the work. But when I grew up, I just tried to do it on the bus, anywhere possible, to have it done before the weekend, because I didn't want to have anything. So I imagine with your rhythm how it must have been.
Yeah, exactly. Also the test days, like when we're testing from Monday to, I don't know, to like Thursday, it's just like you're missing almost the entire week, and it's just, then you have to catch up, and it's not that easy, you know. And then also sacrificing spending time with family and just being at home, kind of just missing your own house. So I think those are the biggest sacrifices I needed to do.
Is there anything you're still missing, like hanging out with friends, doing, let's say, normal teenagers things?
Yeah, well, I think I always try to catch up on that when I'm at home. So I always hang out with my friends. Yeah. So, but I also have friends around the track, and I also really like them. So it kind of makes up for the time with friends. But I always try to catch up with my friends when I'm at home. So I do miss it, but it's something I can kind of look past, and it's not the biggest sacrifice I have to do.
Yeah, probably when we were speaking about the term sacrifice, you can argue that you're not sacrificing because it's something you love, but then you must also consider that it becomes almost a profession. I mean, it's something you do very professionally. There's a lot of work on track, but also outside the track. So, I mean, when did you understand? Because I guess that when you were little, it was just pure fun. As you said, it was fun, and obviously you wanted to win, but it was a much more entertaining activity, let's say. When did you understand in your career that this could have become maybe also your future as a professional racing driver?
Well, I think, so this year wasn't the first time I stopped. I stopped also when I was 9 years old.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Yeah, I stopped because I was just like, I was a child who was away from home all the time, and my dad was just forcing us to do it, and he was forcing us to be like in Italy 24/7. So then I was like, okay, I'm tired of this. I don't want to do it anymore, because I was a child being deprived of all these things that I loved, you know. I loved being at home with my friends, and I didn't understand it as much. So then when I came back when I was 13.
Oh, you stayed 4 years without it. I didn't know this.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but then I missed it again. So I was like, I need to come back again.
But when you were a child, was it really difficult? Maybe also the cultural difference, like coming to Italy to adapt.
I think the biggest difference was like the language. Because I still, when I was little, I didn't really speak that much English, because the school English level is not very high. So, I think the biggest thing was the language. But other than that, I love Italy, and especially we race in the Senzano, or like Lonato. So, the environment there is just beautiful, the lake, and I think my family and I love it there. So whenever we can come there, we just do, because it's so nice there. So I think, the biggest thing was just the language.
You were speaking before about your father kind of forcing you to do it. How did this ever create some, not problems, but maybe some discussions or some things in your relationship that you wished could have been a bit different at times?
I think my dad is very stubborn person, and also he has higher authority than me, so we couldn't really discuss anything. So always what he said, that's how it needed to be. We didn't really get to discuss anything, so there were no discussions about this stuff.
It wasn't a democracy.
Yeah, no. Dictatorships.
Was it like this also with your sisters, with Petra and Terry?
Yeah, with everyone.
But you were the only one who stopped, or also?
Also Petra did and Teresa did, but not for as long. Teresa only
Okay.
stopped for 1.5 years.
Okay.
And then me and Petra stopped for 4 years.
That's really curious because it makes me think about how this sport becomes part of you. So it's not just anymore something you do for fun. It's not even only a passion. It's like a lifestyle, as you were saying.
Yeah, for sure. And it's also not like if you stop, you just don't forget about it. Like there's always like something pulling you back. It's always like you just want to go and watch that world championship, or you want to go and watch that race, and then you kind of get caught up in it again, and then you're like, okay, maybe we should try again. So yeah, that's how it was for us, I think.
And what's your fondest memory in karting up until now? Like the best day? I hope and I think you had quite a few, but if you need to pick one.
I think that would be the I Games, to be honest.
When you won.
When I won the I Games in 2020, yeah. Because Campillos as well is one of my favorite tracks. And I was also racing there in 2020, the Road Tax, what was it? The Winter Cup, yeah?
Yeah.
And I was really fast, but we were just unlucky, and then I didn't get to even get a trophy. I actually didn't even do the second final because we had some issues with the team. So then coming back 2 years later and winning that race it just really felt amazing.
What relationship do you have with victory?
I just love it, honestly. That's it. But like, I feel like it always just gives you this like great feeling. Also, it always makes me so motivated. Like, not just in karting, but in everything. I just want to become a better person after I win races. No, like I'm always like I'm gonna start going to the gym and yeah, it just feels really good and like motivational, I think.
You're a very competitive person.
Yes. Very, especially with my sister, Teresa. Yeah, we were always competing with each other in everything, not just in karting, but everything.
So who's the fastest of you?
I think it depends on the track, but I think at this track I'm a bit faster, but Teresa has always been a better racer. So she has better racecraft for sure.
And do you learn from her? Do you actually also like try races together when you practice, or?
Yeah, we do. And also we have in the past when we still were testing and in X30 and Road Tax especially, because we didn't really specialize in OK until like this year. And we were just doing the craziest races ever. We would like crash in practices.
Really?
I was gonna ask you if you ever crashed into each other.
So we did this like kind of fake start once, yeah. And it was horrible. One guy, because we also had like coaches who were driving with us, so it was like 6 of us driving. So one had like bend axle, one's wheel flew off, one almost flipped. It was like crazy.
It was basically a survivor race.
Yeah.
In 6. Kimi Antonelli passing by. You actually raced with him too in 60 Easy, but you said that maybe you do you remember that?
No, I just remember him as a little kid because he was always like unbelievable fast, and everyone thought he was cheating.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And he was just really good, but back then it was just like, oh my god, how is this guy so good? Like, what is this? So we all thought he was just cheating.
But you spoke about your relationship with victory. What about your relationship with defeat, since you're a very competitive person?
Yeah, I don't love that as much. I just think it's like a part of it, you know? It teaches you stuff, and of course nobody likes it, and if I could choose I'd be winning all the time. But defeat also teaches you stuff, and it's not always just negative, you know?
So, sorry. Go, Nikki, I saw you.
No, I wanted to ask you if it brings you down a lot, and if you maybe learned how to deal with it when you were younger and now?
Yeah, I think it doesn't really bring me down a lot because I kind of, when you're in such a competitive sport and there are so many like good people and fast people and just good racers, you kind of have to expect that you will not win everything. But I also think like you can learn from it so much, so it never really brought me down. It just, I always like try to take everything I learned from the weekend and then apply it to the next weekend and just get better like that.
This is also, this brings back to my mind when you said, I knew I could stay in the top 10 when you were speaking about the time you took off from karting. How did you build that confidence inside you? Because it's not easy. And I know it personally, like from my personal experience, that it's not easy to say, I know I can be up there, but I'm not up there for this, this and that. How did you build that?
Yeah, I think I built it up. It for sure wasn't easy for me either, but like I have done so many test days, and I think through just really like hard work and all these like test days and just working hard, like I think that was it, because also doing so many races, like yeah, I think, and then also some results came in before that. Like I was third at one of the European
In
IME
Castelletto,
rounds. Yes,
right?
in Castelletto, yeah. So I think because that hard work has shown in some races, and it's not like you forget how to drive, you know. So I just knew I was good, but I just didn't quite have the material or the conditions because I'm not very good in wet conditions. So when that came, I was like, okay, this is not for me. But when, yeah, I think when you just work hard really and you know you're getting better and you can really see that you're getting better, I think the confidence comes with that.
And did you ever met some challenges in during those
Like brought in some positivity that I actually realized it wasn't me.
why do you make that face?
Because it was just like, I think it was just really bad back then because I was not motivated at all, and I'm just really happy that that time is
That-
over because I think it was just, yeah, it wasn't good.
You're living it much better now, right?
Yeah, it was just really, I wasn't really motivated, and now that I think the fact that I saw that, it also helped me now because I know that if something goes wrong now, then most of the time either I really made a mistake because I was stressed out or something, or it's just something's not working out, but I will never doubt myself that way again, because I know what it did to me last year.
Well, that's really important, I think.
Yeah,
That's something that only experience can teach
Exactly.
it's one of those life lessons also that karting, motorsport can give you, can teach you. And now we are doing this podcast to speak about those things, but also to show behind the scenes. And this is a behind the scene of the podcast, because Eliska asked us, how much can I be honest? What were you she asked before we started, how much can I be honest in the podcast? And I said 120%. So now I want to ask you why you asked that question to us before.
I think because I have like some issues, or like not issues, but I don't completely agree with everything like in the championship or like that, because for example the tires, now that's something I wanted to talk about. Because the MG tires, it's just like so unfair. Like it's the most unfair thing I think there is right now, because like at the WSK our pace was amazing. We were one of the fastest. Then the FIA again, the Italian championship, and we did all this like preparation. We also did so many test days, and then
for a second, let's just remind everyone. She's the first ever Italian championship.
Yeah, I wanted to. I would have mentioned that obviously. I wanted to keep it as the last part because it's incredible, and it's one of the many stories we wanted to tell about you. But correct to remind it. Then
she's the first woman.
Yeah, she's the first woman to have ever won an Italian championship.
Yeah,
so
it was really good. I honestly, I didn't even know.
You didn't know you were the first one, or
no? I didn't know. Well, I didn't know I was the first one, and I just found out on the podium, and because they're like, how does it feel? I was making an interview, and they're like, how does it feel to be the first woman Italian champion? I was like, I'm the first Italian, I'm the first woman champion in Italy, and they were like, yeah.
What did you feel in that moment?
I just felt like, wow, this is amazing, because like, girls are not very, or like they're really kind of pushed into karting now, but I feel like people around the paddock, especially like boys, don't like that girls are getting better. So it always, when you can say I'm the first woman that achieved this, or the first woman that achieved that, then it always feels just so good. It's like a confidence boost. Yeah.
A lot of training even there more. No, but
especially like when you beat good drivers, it just feels even better.
No, I have a few questions on this, because it makes me really curious. But before, I wanted you to finish with what you were saying. That we interrupted you. Sorry.
So yeah, how I said, we were just preparing a lot for this race. Also, we did so much testing, and then when the important point comes, we just get bad tires. Like, we check the data, we cannot explain what it is other than the tire, because my driving's fine. We compared it with my teammate Nicola Kuhlmann, and he's going really fast, and he's just it just looks like the tires compared to him on the data. So it's just really kind of frustrating and disappointing, because I know how much I've put into it, and also how much like I was even trying in the quali, and then when you just can't see the result, it's just really frustrating and disappointing, just because it happened because of the tires. So if I messed up, then I would be like, okay, fair enough, I'm stupid. But then when it's something that's out of your control, it's just really kind of heartbreaking as well.
This sport sometimes lets you down, maybe, but you keep doing it. Then people ask you, why? Are you stupid? I mean, you do a sport that is, you take risks, you need to do sacrifices. A
lot of it's not in your control.
Exactly, so it lets you down. Sometimes it's unfair. Why do you keep going? What do you answer?
I think I would answer, okay, maybe I'm stupid for still trying, but then what if it goes right one day? Like, I'm there for that, So no matter how long I need to keep trying, I just hope that the day where it goes right will just come. I think that's what keeps me going and keeps me in the sport, because you're just like, okay, on to the next one, and you keep telling yourself the next one is the race. It's the one where I'm gonna win. And then if it's not, then you just tell yourself, yeah, then it's the next one.
We have another one.
Yeah. So I think that always keeps me coming back.
I think this is a beautiful answer, and one I also identify myself with, because I always used to say that my life was like shaped in races. So I ended a race, and then I did everything in my life to prepare for the next one. I didn't do a lot of races in a year, like 8, 9. And so I lived everything, school, everything was just the next race. And it also, the fact you say the race connects to our definition of the pass, because well, it's better if Nikki explains it, that she's better in doing so.
The name.
The name, yeah.
Okay. So we called it the pass because we wanted something that could relate both to track and to normal life. And so obviously on track, the pass is when you overtake someone and something that you have to do. But also in your daily life, you pass when you overcome a fear, you can even overtake yourself in life, because maybe you thought you couldn't do something and then you do it. And so if we were to ask you something that in your life stands out that you're really proud of, if we talk about what is the pass.
Yeah, I think I already said it. I think it's the iGames, really, because
Yeah,
it was
iGames.
just like, I was also the first woman to win that. So
Wow.
it was like the Italian championship was great as well, for sure. But I think, yeah, maybe that, or the other thing I think that could have been kind of, I'm not sure if I would identify it as the past, but that kind of made me stronger was my crash in 2021 in Adria. It was like a big crash. I even took a ride in the helicopter, but it was just, yeah, I think that really made me realize how much I love racing, because like straight away, already in the first day in the hospital, I already wanted to go back to the track. So I think that just really was eye-opening.
Wow.
This is impressive, because I remember that day I wasn't in Adria, but I was following the race from home, and I just remember that when they put the red flags, immediately they didn't show the crash. It wasn't on the cameras, at least from home. But I saw people running fast, and I was a bit scared, because when there are crashes, yeah, you see maybe the marshals, but not people like from outside the track. Yeah. And it really scared me, and then we came to know about the dynamics, and it was really scary. And when also I came to know that you were involved, I was actually scared, and I think everybody was. And so I asked, were you scared?
I was knocked out.
Right.
I don't remember
anything.
And then I just like remember waking up in the hospital, and then I wasn't scared, because they gave me some pills and like some things that like I didn't feel the pain at all, and I had quite a lot of fractures on my body. And I just like, because I had no idea what happened. Like I knew I crashed, because I could remember I woke up in the helicopter for like 2 seconds, and that's all I could remember. And then I woke up in the hospital, and yeah, I wasn't scared, because I just had no idea what happened.
And when they told you?
Then it just felt like we were talking about someone else. I didn't really feel like that we were talking about me, because I have no idea about like that thing. Like I have no idea that it happened, you know? Like I don't remember. I actually just remember probably like starting that race, and then I don't remember anything from the race.
Wow. That's
yeah, it's crazy.
It's how do we say brividi in English? When you have the pelle d'oca. I think you can understand. It's impressive. Do you ever have, or did you ever have fear in this sport?
I didn't really have fear, but after the crash, I was like a month on a wheelchair, because my pelvis was cracked in multiple places, so I wasn't allowed to walk. And then 2 days after I got out of the wheelchair, we went to Portugal for the iGames 2021, and I did the qualifying.
Oh my
That's
God.
crazy.
Yeah. I was P2 in my group in the qualifying, P4 overall or P5. And then I couldn't do the race because my mom was scared. Plus also I had I had really bad concussion, and they told me that people normally die because of the concussion I had. So yeah.
Wow.
So I think that so my mom didn't want me to
Risk.
do the race because if anything, or if I had a crash again, or if I hit my head, it could have been really bad. And then I think there I wasn't scared because it was just driving and I wasn't racing. And then I did the race in Bahrain, the grand finals, the Rotax grand finals that year as well. And I think I was a little scared there because the doctors told me how bad it was. I never realized until in Czech, there was this one doctor that told me, yeah, you can celebrate your birthday twice a year because you're really lucky that you survived. So I was like,
God.
Wow.
yes, I was like, oh great.
It's incredible that you're laughing at this. I am really, oh my God, it makes me, I don't know. I'm lost for words actually because it's. How did you manage to do this? Sorry.
I don't think she knows.
No, I think it's just really because throughout the entire healing process, I was just I couldn't feel any pain. I couldn't remember the crash. So of course it's horrible for the people around me. And when I say this, but I just feel like it was just words that she was telling me, but I actually didn't feel like that because I couldn't feel the pain. I didn't remember the crash. Then I also saw a video of the crash.
Oh, you saw the video, so.
Yeah. I saw it straight away in the hospital. And
Really?
But again, I just didn't I didn't think it was that bad because I was like, okay, I know that's me on the video, but I actually don't remember any of it. I don't remember the pain. I don't remember just nothing.
This is mind blowing for me.
Mm-mm.
And this is also shows the power of the sport, of the passion, and it's something that inevitably you touch when you speak to a girl who races. And sometimes I don't want to touch this topic because I feel it's actually giving how do we say, it's actually feeding the wrong direction of things. But it's inevitable because obviously it's uncommon for girls. It's less common for girls to race compared to boys. So I ask you, do you ever feel that you have been treated differently also actually on track just because you were a girl?
Yeah, for sure, always. No matter what, for example, boys, if they know that the boy in front of them is faster, they push each other. They push each other and they try to catch the people in front. But when you're a girl, there's nothing like that. You either need to defend or they're going to overtake you. Even if they're half a second slower and they can overtake you, they just will because you're a girl and they cannot get beaten by a girl.
The pride is
But
too much.
Yeah, but I guess I understand it because it's a sport that's dominated by boys, And then most of the time there's this stereotype that if you get beaten by a girl, you're just not good. So I understand that nobody wants to get beaten by a girl, I think.
But how did you also manage to overcome this? And what you said, okay, the sport is kind of dominated by boys also because the majority are boys. But what would you tell to someone? Maybe they also told you sometimes that it's a sport for boys. In Italian we say uno sport da maschi. What would you answer? Or did you ever had to answer to someone like this?
No, I didn't, but I think I would say that we're in 21st century, so at the end of the day, girls can do whatever they want, And I think no matter what, I think girls should be given the same opportunity as boys. I don't think things should be made easier for them. I just want the same opportunity for them. So, for example, if there is a boy and a girl on the same level, I think like, for example, these F1 academies should consider them both as like equal drivers, and not just like the boy because he's a boy.
And in fact, what do you think about like F1 Academy, who is doing that just for girls?
Terry also raced in not F1 Academy, the one
the
that
W Series.
Yes, she raced there.
Good. Yeah, but I think that's it's quite controversial for me, but I think it's just okay. I'm gonna say my opinion on this, but so
be honest.
So I know Terry did it, but I also think she really liked it when she did it. But then when you really think about it, it's not really beneficial for girls, I don't think, because at the end of the day, if a girl is just gonna compare herself to girls, she's never gonna beat the boys, because the boys just have it in kind of their physics, their biology as well, that their bodies are just stronger and they're stronger, faster, whatever. And so if you're just comparing yourselves to girls and you stop improving at some level because you're the best, then you come to a field where there are boys, and then you're probably gonna be either in the end or the mid pack. You're never gonna beat the boys if you just compare yourself to girls.
It's very interesting because you're a girl who has always raced also with boys.
Beating
them also. And I think, if I remember well, that after the victory at the Italian Championship here in Franciacorta, you said you would like to inspire other girls and show them that with hard work and dedication, you can reach also those ambitious targets, and you can do anything you actually put your mind to. Do you feel you are an inspiration? Did it ever happen to you to meet other girls and to feel that it was nice, I managed to maybe give them some good advice?
Yeah, I think there have been some girls that kind of mainly I think it was mainly like a bit older women than me and my sisters are. But I think those are the ones who can like really kind of notice that we are able to race with boys, and I think it's something they like to see, because during their time or when they were young, or younger, they wouldn't really have that chance, because I think girls in motorsport were not really kind of pushed as much, like ever. So I think this is quite new. So I think when an older generation sees this, it's just really nice for them to see, because they know that in their time it's something that would have never happened. So I think it's also really good to see how it evolved. And yeah, I think it also shows that the older generation already needed to do something that was like the right step in the right direction, because if nobody did anything, girls wouldn't be as pushed in motorsport now. So yeah, I think it's I think when I'm doing good, I am also making a step in the right direction, because it might give the next generation more opportunities.
Yeah,
this is nice. What advice would you give little girls who are starting in motorsport?
Just work hard. You really need to work hard. If you want to beat boys, you need to be as strong as them. You just need to be training with boys as well, and you need to honestly just work really, really hard. Probably harder than boys, actually, because they have it naturally, they're naturally stronger. So it's easier for them. But if you're a girl in motorsport, it's not. When you work harder, you will not get stronger. You will be just as strong as them. So work harder than boys, I think.
Do you train a lot?
No, I do not train a lot, but
You don't like it?
no, it's not that I don't like it. It's just that I don't have time for it because my dad has always believed that like by just doing laps, it will be the best training. So that's what we do. That's how we train.
I think it is.
Yeah, no, I agree. I completely agree because whenever, for example, when I stopped for a while, I did start going to the gym quite a lot. And then in Třinec, the Czech track before the Czech race, I drove a couple laps in OK and I was so tired. It was so difficult. So I think the gym does not give you as good of a training as doing laps does.
This is another thing that is difficult to explain to people. The physical effort that is required when training. Your father passed by.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's incredible. I mean, I think we have reached close to the end of our episode. We went even longer than we expected, but
I had a couple of questions.
Oh,
actually.
sorry. I didn't want to end it actually because you know how much I want to continue. It's just that we hope, and this is important for our viewers, as always, that we didn't tell all the story of Eliska. We touched different points. We hope she will be our guest again if she likes this. So yeah, that's a premise. But sorry, Nikki.
No, because you talked a lot about also the importance of the materials. So do you think this sport is more an individual or a team sport?
For sure, team sport. It's for sure people who have been doing this for many years know the material better. They have better material because they kind of know how to get it. And it's not available for just anyone. And also, I think the biggest importance is data from other drivers. So if you have good teammates and you can compare the data, it's so much better because, for example, if you're alone in a team or if you have your own team and you're alone, then and you cannot compare the data, you'll be like wondering like, oh my God, where am I going wrong? Like, I don't know. But then when you get to compare the data with other drivers, you're just like, okay, yeah, I see. So I'm messing up first corner, then my braking in third corner is not good. And I think it's just like it saves a lot of time and it just makes you improve quicker.
And
The second question, because I would have another one, but it's...
no, the second one is just pure curiosity. What is your dream? Now, because we talked about you being an inspiration, but where do you want to end up?
I think like when I was younger, F1 was the goal, but for me, I'm not sure if that's the goal right now because it would be also really difficult to achieve it because I think like I'm like 18 years old now and I still didn't do a season in F4, so I don't know if that's really realistic anymore, but for sure I want to become a businesswoman if I don't, and I want to do business with my sisters. We're already planning on kind of starting some businesses, and I think because like I said, like through karting, our bond has just improved so much, and it just made us realize that like we're the strongest together. So I think we just want to start something together and just really do well in that as well.
Oh, that's really nice. Good luck.
Thank you.
I will support you and cheer for you.
Yeah.
It's
Thank
crazy
you.
because family, team in karting, team in maybe business in the future. So it was a very inspirational track talk for us. We thank you. As I say, I hope we will have other occasions also with your sisters, with your little brother to speak again.
Oh my God, he would love this. He loves talking, and
Really?
he is just so funny. He's just, and he's a little crazy as well, so he would absolutely love this.
So we're waiting
have
for
to-
him, for
yeah.
Zdenek, right?
Yeah.
Do you say Zdenek also in Czech? Or
We say Zdeněk,
Zdenek, okay. Eliska is Eliska.
Eliška.
Ah. Wow. Well, what can I say if not thank you? And
Okay, yeah, thank you as well. It was great.
I'm happy to know it. And yeah, Stay tuned for the next episodes. I say hi, I'm Mattia.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Eliska.
Bye, and see you at the next The Pass.
Bye.
Because in some way, the past is also about you.